good evening. Welcome to The Big Story. I'm Regina Lay.
And I'm Shawn Yao.
Tonight's big stories. As we speak, the woman of the hour, dismissed Bamban Mayor Alice Guo, is on her way back to the Philippines from Indonesia. A whole nation awaits the story of how this main character in this high-profile case managed to flee overseas.
But former mayor, or is she former mayor? Alice is definitely returning not to a hero's welcome, but to a Senate probe and her first criminal case. A Tarlac court has issued a warrant of arrest against the embattled mayor for 2 counts of graft. And a vocal critic of Vice President Sara Duterte lands his biggest job yet. Later on, we speak to Manila 3rd District Congressman Joel Chu, now chairman of the Good Government and Public Accountability Committee, tasked to probe public funds misuse.
Well, Alice Guo is still very much the big story tonight, and as we speak, we believe she is in the air and on the way back here, escorted by no less than officials from the DILG, Immigration, and PNP.
It is quite the entourage, Reg, for Guo, who has been on the run since mid-July. Let's now get an update from News 5's Rainiel Pawid, who joins us from Indonesia. Hi, Rainiel. What happened today? Who is with Alice right now? What can you tell us?
Yeah, hi ladies. As we speak, I've got a confirmation from the Bureau of Immigration officials that they are now onboarding the chartered plane heading back to Manila with ex-mayor Alice Guo. They are with PNP Chief Marbil, and also alongside with them are the NBI officials and other BI officials who process the immigration documents of Alice Guo. So by 10 in the evening or around 10:30, expect that Alice Guo will be in the Philippines.
It was past 3 in the afternoon when Alice Guo was finally turned over to Interior Secretary Benhur Abalos. Abalos arrived this afternoon at the headquarters of the Indonesian police after meeting with his Indonesian counterpart for Guo's release.
Marami kami napag-usapan na krimen na pwedeng magtulungan. No, napakarami. Ang importante sa ngayon, ang pinag-usapan namin is that how we could get Alice Guo. Ang importante ay, of course, ito nakuha na natin si Alice Guo at naiuwi natin sa Pilipinas.
Abalos also said that contrary to reports, they did not discuss the supposed prisoner swap for Australian drug kingpin Gregor Haas and Alice Guo. Before the turnover, Abalos thanked the Indonesian police for working with the Philippines in apprehending Alice Guo, Sheila Guo, and Cassandra Leong. Abalos also committed to continue working with Indonesia against illegal activities.
In behalf of our country and of course our president, again we would like to thank you for all the hard work that you've done. But it's not yet finished because Alice Guo is just one person. Both our countries are facing so many problems, challenges in the future. Drugs, other forms of criminalities, and we share borders like the seawater that we have to patrol together. So we've agreed that we will continue to talk and to cooperate and have common strategies and plan of actions in the future.
After the formalities, Alice Guo was finally brought in.
Alice.
She was also heard asking Secretary Abalos for help. The alleged death threat was confirmed by Philippine immigration authorities. They said Guo reached out to them 2 weeks ago.
Sinasabi na from the Chinese mafia. So based din sa observation natin during the time na nilolocate natin siya dito, ay hindi ganun kalaki yung makinarya niya dito kasi kung mapapansin nyo yung mga hotel na pinuntahan niya, hindi yung mga mamahaling hotel.
After signing relevant documents, Abalos' party together with Alice Guo proceeded to Jakarta Airport for their trip back to the Philippines.
The plane carrying Alice Guo will land at Villamor Air Base in Pasay City, and upon arriving in Manila, there will be a press conference. And now we're heading back to the immigration, and the immigration here in Indonesia is also very happy that they already turned over Alice Guo to the Philippine officials. And I believe we have a small talk with former Mayor Alice Guo a while back, and she said that she's okay but she declined to answer all allegations linking her to the alleged operation of Pogo in the Philippines. Back to you, ladies.
Okay, first off, Rainiel, what can you tell us about the negotiations? As we understand it, no, hindi daw siya naging kasing simple nung kay Sheila Guo and kay Cassandra Leong. What were the differences between the negotiations between the two? What can you tell us? Ano bang nangyari?
Yeah, earlier, no, nung hapon, it's been a full day for all of us, the Philippine media, immigration, Philippine counterparts, even NBI. It's been a full day kasi nagkaroon pa ng 1 p.m. na talks dito sa national headquarters ng Indonesian police. And with that, it took them like 2 hours para matapos yon bago pa kami pumunta doon sa detention facility kung nasan si Alice Guo. And then doon sa storya naman ng palitulo or the swapping of head for these individuals or the Australian drug kingpin, sinabi ni Abalos na hindi daw nila ito napag-usapan with their counterpart at sinabi nila na agad na lamang ibibigay si Alice basta magkaroon lamang ng magandang illegal activity drive ang Pilipinas at ang Indonesia.
Okay, Rainiel, earlier, no, pinapanood ko kasi yung Facebook Live ni Secretary of Interior Abalos. Bago pong pinatay nung staff niya yung mikropono niya, may mga narinig lang ako na gusto kong i-clarify, and I wanted to find out if you also heard the same and if you guys were able to clarify with the Secretary. Sabi niya kasi parang, Alice, ikaw talaga. And then Alice said, nagpatulong ako kasi may mga death threats. And then medyo naging choppy yung mic, and then sinabi ni Secretary Abalos parang, kaya nga kami kumuha ng plane. And then, in-off na yung mic. So, na-clarify nyo ba yon or narinig nyo yon when you were in that parang conference room?
Yes, on that note, no, the conversation is all about the security of Alice Guo dahil nga sinasabi lagi nitong si Guo na meron daw death threat sa kanya. And before pa lang kami magpunta doon sa exclusive room na yon, ay kinonfirm na namin sa Bureau of Immigration na nagstay dito for 3 weeks kung sino yung mga nagmo-monitor talaga sa kanya dito sa Jakarta. At sinabi nga nila na may isang malapit kay Alice Guo na lumapit na rin sa kanila at nagsabi na nakakatanggap nga ng death threat mula sa Chinese mafia itong si Guo. Dahil nga dito sa naging
Rainiel? Okay, just when he was getting to the juicy part, it gets cut off.
Right, so that was Rainiel Pawit coming to us live from Jakarta. But interesting, so they're in the air. They're expected to arrive between 10 to 10:30.
I think Rainiel might be back. Rainiel, hi, can you hear us?
In any case, we know for a fact that they are landing at Villamor Air Base in Pasay City. Colonel Jean Fajardo said earlier today that she will likely, once they land, there will be a press conference. After that, she will likely be taken to Camp Crame for medical and physical examination and to be booked officially on charges.
So that's a bit different from what we originally thought her schedule would be upon arrival.
No, it pretty much lines up.
Does she still go to the BI
much lines up for, well, there's the BI stop, I think, is probably just very
quick
will
and
be
procedural.
Very quick. Exactly. And then she is expected to be turned over to the Senate. Not clear at this point if it's tonight or tomorrow, but definitely they are expecting her at the Senate tomorrow for the first hearing since, when was the last time she appeared in Senate?
I think it was
May.
It was in May, yeah.
Right, correct, May. So, okay, also just at this moment, I want to take a second to run through some of the other images we got from out of Jakarta today, from out of Indonesia, during the handover. So we're looking at pictures from released by the Bureau of Immigration, with Alice Guo in the black mask, obviously. And I particularly wanted to home in on the passport, see? So it's confirmed at this point that she traveled using the Philippine passport. And on the passport, they blurred certain information out. But as you can see, it still says Alice Guo, and
Yes,
the passport is valid till 2030 pa rin.
So there was, like I was telling Rainiel, a 30-minute almost Facebook Live on Secretary Abalos' Facebook page, where they did show her presenting the passport, people taking photos of it, as well as her temporary travel documents. You could see it. It's like a bond paper with stuff on it, and a kind of like an ID picture of her that wasn't even taken like as a proper ID picture, but that was stuck. And they took a lot of photos. Everyone's phone was out.
So remember, there was a clamor to cancel her passport. I believe this is one of the reasons why they couldn't immediately, because they still needed to bring her back. Otherwise, she'd have to wait for a new passport if that one was canceled, right? So
and
it's
also,
procedural
according
as
to
well.
Justice Secretary Remulla, you can't just cancel a passport basta-basta lang. There
correct.
are certain
There is
rights accorded to the Philippine passport and holder.
There is a process. The second picture I wanted to
That
just
was
talk
cute.
about very quickly is this one that's going viral immediately. Oh my goodness, she is so memeable. Within minutes after that photo came out, and that was released by, I believe, PNP as well.
And the NBI, this one.
The memes just erupted all over social media with people saying, you know, parang mag-outing lang.
And some people are like, is this even real? Like,
Yes,
it's
like
from the
some of
NBI.
our colleagues are asking if it was real, and it's real. It was released by, was it NBI or not?
It was the
PNP?
NBI.
Okay,
It was the
NBI.
NBI. As you can see in their jackets, the lady staff members beside her, or at least government workers.
They're all government officials.
Yes,
they're
they
not
are.
her
They have
friends.
NBI.
Right, they're not her friends. They're not going to Pansol.
They're not going on a road trip.
Exactly, which is what all the memes are saying now, right? And I just, oh
Parang
my
barkada
goodness.
trip lang.
Kaya nga, exactly. She's just so memeable, and I don't know why she's still smiling, considering that she's coming home to
Actually,
a lot of charges.
When you watch a Facebook Live, she came out, she was presented to the Philippine media and the Philippine authorities, and she was like, "Hi, Sec." You can watch this. I'm not making this up. It's on the Facebook page of our secretary. Okay, there, of course, one other thing that we are quite sure of at this point in time is that there is going to be quite a crowd waiting for Alice at Villamor when she lands. And one other thing that awaits her, of course, is, as we mentioned earlier, her first court-issued arrest warrant. A Capas Tarlac Regional Trial Court has become the first court to issue an arrest warrant for her, charging her with 2 counts of alleged violation of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. This stemmed from the complaint filed by the DILG over her alleged links to the raided Pogo in Bamban. This, however, is a bailable offense, and her bail has been set at 90,000 pesos for each count. The legal team of Alice Guo welcomed news of Alice's arrest in Indonesia. In a statement, Guo's lawyers expressed their gratitude and relief regarding the safe apprehension of Guo. They added that Guo's arrest is a welcome development for them so that they can answer the allegations and issues thrown against her. Guo's legal team also wanted to remind the public that unless proven otherwise, Alice Guo is innocent. They also urged people to refrain from making crude and malicious comments and baseless accusations, saying all matters will be answered in the proper forum and before courts of competent jurisdiction. In addition, attorney Stephen David, lawyer of the Guo family, revealed that the youngest Guo sibling, Wesley, has expressed his desire to surrender. It was earlier reported that Wesley managed to travel from Indonesia to Hong Kong.
Gusto niya sa detail, hindi ko masasabi. Madating yung point ng isang tao yung nag-discover sila. Kasi makasama sa So, human being that we are, dumarating yung point na kahinaan. Gusto natin yun. Isa pwede yun naman ang tamang gawin.
Well, upon her return, senators fully expect Alice Guo to come clean about how she and her group managed to slip out of the country. Her purported sister, Sheila Guo, was repeatedly asked that at today's Senate hearing. Maya Los Baños has that story.
Senator Risa Hontiveros questioned Sheila Guo at length about how she and her supposed siblings Alice and Wesley fled the Philippines by water. Hontiveros remains unconvinced that the Guos were able to reach Malaysia only via 3 boats and endured days-long travel at that.
Sabi nyo, dumaan kayo sa dagat, papuntang Sabah. Pero marami actually nagdududa dyan kasi masyado daw magalaw yung dagat ngayong panahon ng habagat. Ang hirap paniwalaan actually na 3 kayo, nina Alice, bilyones ang pera ninyo, na? Pinaghahanap ng buong bansang Pilipinas, i-expose nyo ang sarili nyo sa ganyang delikadong biyahe sa dagat. Maaari mo bang i-describe sa amin yung itsura ng Shenpen na yan?
Siyata yun. Palang beach na may buhangin. May tao pero hindi kaano.
May kaunting...
Palang turista ata yung tao na yun.
The stamp date on Sheila's passport showed that it was July 18 when she entered Malaysia via Kuala Lumpur, and that she was there even before proceeding to Sabah. Sheila had this explanation.
Kasi pagdating kami sa Shenpen na, may biyahe pa kami. Biyahe kami tapos dalating sa isang lugar, Malaysia na yan. Nakainan-alaw kasi kami doon.
Senator Hontiveros also revealed that the Sabah stamp on Sheila's passport was fake and didn't match what a genuine stamp would look like. Hontiveros also said the KL stamp on July 18 was credible. This cast into doubt the real entry point of the Gos and Cassandra Ong. For senators, Sheila's account of the Gos escape route is either incomplete or she is plain lying.
Right.
Chair, I'm
Yes,
just so disappointed, Madam Chair, na ayaw pa rin magsabi ng katotohanan ni Miss Alice, bagamat Miss Sheila, owe it to yourself na magsabi ng katotohanan. Hindi ka makakalabas ng Pilipinas ng ganun lang. Hindi ka makakawala sa mga otoridad sa Pilipinas ng ganun lang. Nasasabihin mong wala kang alam o walang tumutulong sa'yo.
For hours, senators tried to appeal to Sheila, later on warning that she could be jailed if she does not tell the truth. AMLAC has already filed 87 counts of money laundering charges against the female Gos, with each count punishable by 7 to 14 years of imprisonment if found guilty.
Yung sinabi ng AMLAC na posibleng i-sentensya sa inyo ay mula 609 years hanggang 1,218 years. Lampas-lampas sa lifetime ng isang tao. So isipin yung mabuti kung worth it na patuloy na hindi magsabi ng totoo.
But Sheila stood by her story. She had previously told the committee that from their farm in Bamban-Tarlac, a van picked them up. Then they traveled for around 5 hours before arriving at a port where they boarded a boat. She said they later transferred to 2 more boats before arriving in a place called Shenpen na. At today's hearing, the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, or CAAP, reported checking passenger manifests of all outbound flights from May this year. None showed the names of Alice, Sheila, and Wesley Guo. CAAP admitted it has no way of knowing if names declared in flight plans are fake. By the time the list reaches CAAP, it is assumed that the PNP, Customs and Immigration Bureaus plus Quarantine or CIQ have already checked it. For News 5, Mean Los Baños, we are One News.
We're going to be pausing for a quick break. Right after that, one of Vice President Sara Duterte's staunchest critics in Congress now heads a House committee tasked to investigate the misuse of public funds. We will be speaking with Congressman Joel Chu about his new committee. When the big story returns, don't miss it.
Welcome back. You're watching the big story here in One News.
The Court of Appeals has junked the Temporary Protection Order, or TPO, that limited police activity in the search for fugitive preacher Apollo Quiboloy. In a resolution dated September 3, the CA 22nd Division in Cagayan de Oro found null and void the TPO issued by RTC, or Regional Trial Court Branch 15, on August 27. The appeals court said the Davao RTC acted without authority in taking notice of the writ of amparo, a remedy against any violation to the right to life, security, and liberty. Recall that the Davao court granted a TPO in favor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ only as a temporary relief, while it decides on the writ of amparo filed by Quiboloy's lawyers. It directed PNP Region 11 to remove all forms of barricades, barriers, or blockades that barred access to and from the compound. The order, though, did not stop law enforcers from searching the KOJC compound in the service of the arrest warrants to Quiboloy and his co-accused. The manhunt for Quiboloy and company is now on its 13th day. KOJC's lawyer, Attorney Israel Torreon, said they will contest the ruling, or the Court of Appeals ruling.
I don't say it voided the TPO somewhere in the, In effect, yeah, maybe it voided the TPO, if you want to term it as that. And that is why we are filing an urgent motion for reconsideration today. We had a draft late last night already, but because of exhaustion, I was not able to finalize it. I was only able to finalize it early morning today.
There was a minor shakeup at the lower house this week that's gone unnoticed amidst all this Alice Guo noise. Manila 3rd District Representative Joel Chu was designated chair of the Good Government and Public Accountability Committee, replacing Bulacan Representative Rita Robes. This is essentially the lower chamber's counterpart to the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee and is tasked with investigating the misuse of public funds. And yes, Congressman Chua was the one who called Vice President Sara Duterte an entitled brat a day after last week's very testy OVP budget hearing at the lower house. We invited him on the show to talk more about his plans. Welcome to The Big Story, Congressman Joel Chu. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Good evening, Shawn and Regina.
Good evening.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. First, let's talk about the now famous budget hearing on August 27th. You issued a statement afterwards calling the vice president an entitled brat, which made a lot of headlines. And you also said she was combative, evasive, disrespectful, and uncooperative. Tell me, what was your biggest issue about the hearing?
Maybe we were just frustrated, more of disappointed, because the vice president refused to answer any of our questions. Meron lang po siyang prepared speech. That's it. So we did not get anything from her.
But one thing I've been asking, which no one has given me a straight answer to, is why this is the same committee that passed her budget in 22 minutes without a single question last year. So, you know, the question there is what's different about then and now? Why did no one take the chance to ask her about confidential funds last year, and this year there were 17 interpellators? What was different?
Because it was only this year that we got hold of this document, the notice of disallowance. Unfortunately, last year it was Congresswoman Franz Castro who was asking for the COA findings, but unfortunately it was only during the committee hearing that she was able to request for the subpoena duces tecum of the notice of disallowance. So ngayon lang kami nakakuha po ng documents. So last year wala po kaming basis, it was only this year.
Okay, so this has nothing to do with the breakup of the unit team. Linawin lang natin, Kong, because a lot of observers are saying na po politika, no less than the vice president herself has said it. And it could be, di ba? So linawin na lang natin, what's your stand on that? Is it politicizing?
I'm not part of unit team. I run under the banner of Action Democratico, and for 2 years I remain a member of Action Democratico. So it just so happened that I attended the committee hearing of the Commission on Appropriations, and then I just asked the vice chairman if I could ask some questions to the vice president, and I was given the opportunity and chance. So that's it.
Vice President Duterte says the lower house was reading off a script and that there's a conspiracy, sorry, not conspiracy, but a strategy.
Like a narrative that they're
a
trying,
narrative.
yeah.
She also used the word narrative, and that there's a strategy to, I guess, press her. Can you comment on that, please?
I do not know what strategy or narrative she is talking about, but insofar as I'm concerned, I just went to the committee hearing and I asked if I could ask the vice president with respect to the confidential fund. So I was given the opportunity. So that's it. In fact, I don't think the Makabayan Bloc would also accept the excuse of the vice president.
Okay, Kong Joel, now that nagkaroon ng malasahan, no? Kasi umalis si Congressman Kiko Benitez to take up his post in TESDA. And so this committee has ended up with you, good government. You are tasked to investigate, no, the public misuse of funds. Anong plano? Do you have plans for the committee as early as now? Are you going to have hearings?
Kaupo pa lang po eh. It was offered to me last Monday. So I got a briefing from the committee secretariat only yesterday. So wala pa po akong idea. But of course, for me, this is just another task given to me by Congress. So this is part of my job. This is part of our job.
With us, Kong, how does that work? No, how do committee heads get picked? Just for the benefit of everyone who may not be so privy to ano ba nangyayari or nalilito kasi ang daming nangyayari. What can you share about the whole process?
Ang pagkakaalam ko po dyan, every party has an allocation for the committee. So it just so happens siguro that Congressman Kiko Benitez vacated the committee na hinahawakan po niya. So it was offered to Congresswoman Robes. So ito po, this was offered to me. So ako naman po, sino po ba naman ako to deny this committee?
Kasi kung yung mga headline, di ba, parang Vice Pres, Sara Duterte's critic, heads, ganun po yung mga headline na nakikita ko. Anong masasabi niyo doon?
Kasi baka nilagyan lang masyado ng anggulo po, no? But for me, this is just nothing personal. And siguro, wag naman po iisipin ng iba, no? Because even if I'm the chairman, I'm not the sole executioner. Ang trabaho po ng chairman mag-mediate lamang sa committee hearing. At the end of the day, it is the whole, the body or the members of the committee who will decide. So hindi naman po yung monopolyo ng chairman. So lahat naman po yan, it will be decided, whatever will be the outcome, will be decided by all the members.
The Commission on Audit actually is also ordering the DepEd to remit up to over 12 billion pesos from the budget that were either issued notices of disallowance, notices of changes, or notices of disallowance pala, notices of suspension or notices of charges. If we could just have that graphic up on the air. 12.3 billion pesos from the 2023 budget is what they're asking for DepEd to return. Are you going to be looking into that as well?
I have no idea yet. As of now, ang concern ko po lamang, tignan muna kung ano yung babagsak sa aking committee. So kung bumagsak po yan sa aking committee, I have no choice but to set a schedule for a hearing.
What about, sir, yung the report that DepEd also wasn't able to deliver on a lot of equipment last year? We were talking about thousands of e-learning cards, smart TVs, laptops for teachers, and also subsequent to that, the report on
the spoiled food,
spoiled milk, and some of the food not even reaching the students under the school-based feeding program. Are those on the radar? So I mean, I know it's early days, but what are you thinking right now?
I do not want to preempt what will be the move of the members of the House, no? But at the end of the day, ano po yan everything that we do is in aid of legislation. So kung ano po yung babagsak, just what I can assure you is that we will be transparent and we have to be reminded that every hearing naman is open for public at lahat po ang taong bayan nakamasid po sa amin. So, yun lang po. Gagawin lang po namin kung ano po ang dapat namin gawin.
The OVP budget hearing has been deferred to September 10, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Are you also looking to...
That will be on Tuesday.
Are you also looking to interpolate then? What are you hoping to see?
Well, it depends on what will be first, if the Vice President will attend the committee hearing, so depende rin po yan what will be the outcome of the committee hearing. So kung ganun pa rin po, so let's see kung ano mangyayari. Dahil in so far as I'm concerned, ako kung wala naman pong isasagot din sa amin at ganun pa rin po mangyayari, we're just wasting government funds. So we might as well decide on the budget.
So may chance po ba na mag-zero budget? Because meron ding mga, agam-agam sa social media ko.
I do not agree with zero budget because we have to understand, may PS po yan eh. What about yung mga empleyado na nagtatrabaho, kawawa naman po, wag naman po ganon. But insofar as the fund allocated for social services, like yung mga libreng living niya and so forth and so on, I think this is just a duplication of function. May mga proper government agency who are already doing their tasks dito po sa mga ganitong trabaho. So we might as well give it to them. No? So kung hindi naman po siya magiging cooperative sa atin, baka ganun po. That is only my personal view. But I do not know yung mga iba pong mga miyembro kung ano po kanilang mga opinion.
You're saying that there's a chance you might vote to take away the social services funds portion of our budget?
Yes, because that is more than 1 billion. If she cannot prove to us that she can use this properly, kasi hindi naman niya, what will be our basis? Of course, her past spending. Kaya nga po tinatanong po namin siya dito kung baka mamaya may mga justifiable answers naman po siya kung bakit nagkaroon ng mga notice of disallowance. But unfortunately, wala naman po siyang sinasagot na maayos. Because kung sasagutin lang naman po niya na maayos, wala naman po sigurong masama. At that is part of our job, to inquire. Otherwise, we will be giving 2 billion pesos na wala naman po kaming naging basis.
Sorry, just to clarify, the notices of disallowance were for the DepEd's budget, not for the OVP's budget.
No, for Office of the Vice President.
There's also...
No, for the Office of the Vice President.
Okay, so
yung mas recent di ba? Nauna na kasi yung notice of disallowance.
For DepEd.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, opo.
Was it almost 1 billion pesos yung funds for social services?
More than 1 billion pesos.
More than 1 billion.
I think 1.2 or 1.3 billion.
So more than
if
half.
I'm not mistaken.
More than half of the request.
More than proposed. Half. Well, actually, initially, she was asking for more than 3 billion. But more than 2 billion. But DBM approved only 2-point-something billion.
Okay. We're going to have to leave that there for now, but we'll follow this closely. We'll let us know once you have, as chair of the Good Government and Public Accountability Committee, once you have plans. We'll be happy to talk to you again. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Representative Joel Chu, again, chairman of the Good Government and Public Accountability Committee of the Lower House.
Another quick break, but right after that, donations for San Juan are now required to go through the Office of the Mayor, a move that has since been criticized by some lawmakers. We will discuss this further with San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora when the big story returns. Keep it here. Welcome back. You're still watching The Big Story here on One News. Malacanang has a new comms chief or communications chief. President Bongbong Marcos appointed Cesar Chavez as the new acting secretary of the Presidential Communications Office, or PCO. Chavez replaces lawyer and former journalist Cheloy Garafil. Chavez also confirmed that Garafil will be appointed as head of the Manila Economic and Cultural Office, or MECO, which handles Manila's relations with Taiwan. Chavez previously served as Undersecretary for Railways before being appointed as a presidential assistant for strategic communications in December last year. The new PCO chief said he will designate fact-check officers at all state media bureaus.
All state media, sa probinsya, sa regional, bureaus, PNA, PIA, PTB4, IBC, Philippine News Agency, to designate a fact-check officer. Para kami mismo ay hindi maging tagapaglako, tagapagtaguyod, at hindi rin kami maging instrumento. But at the same time, pag may nakita kami sa tingin namin ay fake na fake, there is a process of checking kung paano makikita kung fake ang balita o hindi.
Senate President pro tempore Jingo Estrada has criticized the new ordinance issued by the San Juan city government, which mandates that all donations from private and public sources should have prior approval from the mayor's office or risk facing fines. This includes individuals, governments, and non-governmental organizations or NGOs. Let's try to bring in the LGU side on this issue. We have with us on the line tonight San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora. Good evening, Mayor Zamora. Thank you for making time out for us.
Yes, good evening, Shawn and Regina. Thank you for having me on your program.
First things first, for those who are unaware, I want to recap the salient points of this San Juan Ordinance number 26. It says all donations from private and public individuals, governments, or non-governmental organizations for victims of the disaster must go through the office of the mayor to ensure that it is recorded and reported properly and that the beneficiaries will get the same. Whoever violates the provisions stated in the city ordinance will be fined 5,000 pesos. Mayor Zamora, could you talk us through the rationale for this?
Okay, Shawn and Regina, I would just like to clarify that City Ordinance number 26 series of 2024 was enacted by the City Council of San Juan to ensure that if there will be groups who will be donating to flood victims or fire victims in the city of San Juan, that the city government will be able to check first what these items are. What are we asking for? We are just asking for proper coordination. Because if we will allow donors to go directly to the evacuation center without us being able to assess what they will be donating, it's possible that they may donate expired items such as food, medicines, drinks, milk. And if something happens to our evacuees, if they get sick because they consume expired goods, then we are responsible. If there will be groups that would like to distribute financial assistance but do not coordinate with us, in case a stampede happens and the children and the senior citizens are stepped on, who will be responsible? It will be us. Again, I would just like to clarify, we welcome all kinds of help. We are not limiting the kind of help that people would want to give if we encounter fires or floods. All we want is for them to be able to coordinate with us so that we can also execute properly, because whatever happens inside the evacuation center is our responsibility. And just to share with you and to the public, we never had any problems at all. In fact, ICA, the Xavier, these schools coordinated with us, and we were able to execute the donation process properly. Speaker Martin Romualdez recently helped us with food packs, and in the next few weeks, he will be releasing financial assistance for our flood victims. There were no problems at all. So the unfortunate thing here is the two senators are spinning this negatively and making it sound like we are preventing people from helping, when in fact the rationale really is we just need proper coordination. And they have never coordinated with us. That's the reality. All they have to do is coordinate with us, and they will realize that it's not difficult at all.
If you've never had a problem before, Mayor, I was wondering what prompted this ordinance then. What was the trigger here? What problem were you trying to solve?
Okay. This ordinance was passed probably 2 months ago, if I remember correctly, 1 or 2 months ago. And this came about because there were instances where people would go to the evacuation center past the curfew hours, and they would insist on going inside simply because they want to donate slippers. Also, in some instances, people are asking for listings of flood victims, which we cannot just release arbitrarily because it will violate data privacy laws. So again, if there are the people who would like to help the city of San Juan in any way, all they have to do is coordinate. Again, this is not limiting anyone who would like to help. It's just ensuring that there will be a proper donation process, and that, remember, everything that happens in the evacuation center is our responsibility.
Right.
Also, there are instances that there are mothers who are breastfeeding their children. If we allow donors to just walk in at any time they want, then the vulnerable citizenry may be exposed to these people who will just walk in the evacuation center.
Okay, Mayor Zamora, let's just make a clarification. Since this ordinance has been in place or passed, has no one been turned down? Anyone who was offering donations, nobody has been turned down, just to make it clear.
We have never turned down anyone at all. And even if you ask big organizations during last Typhoon Karina, big organizations donated, no one had any problem at all. So I believe that the senator who's complaining, all he has to do really is just to lower his pride a little, just coordinate with the local government of San Juan. This is an ordinance enacted by the City Council of San Juan. The local government code has empowered city councils and local governments to enact ordinances for the general welfare of our people. We have never turned down anyone who wanted to donate. In fact, Senator Estrada never coordinated with us. All he has to do is just coordinate with us, and he will realize it's not difficult to be able to help the people of San Juan through proper coordination with the local government of San Juan.
Mayor Zamora, there was a video. I'm going to ask it because it was all over social media. I saw it like multiple times. I think you know the video I'm talking about. There was a Senator Jingo and a lady. And supposedly, as you know, the days passed, supposedly the lady works for City Hall and she was posted outside the evacuation center. Was this ordinance not a reaction to that video and supposedly the issue that arose na he was being barred from giving donations straight or directly?
That video went viral, I think, about a week ago. The ordinance was passed more than a month ago. So they cannot say that we just passed this after that video went viral. So that's something that they can check with the records of our Sangguniang Panlungsod. The video went viral just last week. This ordinance was passed, I believe, a month ago.
It isn't just Senator Jingo Estrada, of course. Senator J.V. Ejercito also criticized the ordinance. If I may just read out his exact response, he says, the decision to penalize those who only wanted to help is unjustified and a clear form of abuse of power. Instead of encouraging bayanihan, this discourages those who want to help those in need. It is unacceptable to involve politics in aid distribution to San Juan City residents. San Juaneños deserve better. That is the Englishized version of his Tagalog statement. Could I have you respond to that, please? In particular, the bit about politics.
Yes, again, there's no politics involved here. And even if you ask Speaker Martin Romualdez, his team coordinated with us. Even if you ask Ika and Xavier School, their teams coordinated with us. Even if you ask the big companies and NGOs that helped San Juan during Super Typhoon Karina, during the fire, the Chuchi Foundation coordinated with us. The Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce coordinated with us. We never had a single problem. There are only two people who consider this a problem, and these are the two senators, because they don't coordinate with us. Probably they think because they are senators, they don't need to coordinate with the local government. That is unfortunate because they themselves are former mayors. They know the policies of local governments in terms of evacuation centers and how we have responsibility over them and the evacuees. So if something happens in the evacuation center, it's our responsibility. So we have to ensure that there is order, that rules and regulations are followed. Again, we are not giving donors a hard time. In fact, we have a mayor's office help desk in the evacuation center itself that will be ready to coordinate with anyone who would like to donate. It's a matter of planning when they will come, for us to assess what they will distribute, to ensure that the items they will distribute will be safe for consumption, the food, the medicines, the milk, the water. It's just that. No one else has encountered any problems, even if you ask around.
Okay, you're right. All three have been mayors of San Juan. Mayor Zamora, if, for example, a citizen, a constituent like myself, I would like to donate, paano po ako magpapaalam? Where do I go? Do I go to City Hall? Do I have to write a formal request?
No, you just have, for instance, even if you check my social media accounts. During Super Typhoon Karina, we announced that donations may be given in our help desk in City Hall. In fact, that's where all the donations went for us to be able to sort them, to repack them, to assess if they are expired items, to properly distribute and allocate them, because we also do not want inequitable distribution in evacuation centers. Again, we are just assessing what are these items. Okay, so if you'd like to donate, we often announce where to bring them. Also, when the evacuation area, there are help desks that are ready to accept donations. Even GMA7 Kapuso Foundation went there. They even had a program there. They didn't have a hard time. The group of Mr. Hansi of SM, they coordinated with us. They didn't have a hard time. No one had a hard time at all. If you ask around, no one had a hard time at all. It's just because these two senators, they do not want to coordinate with us. Maybe because they think they are senators, they are above the rules and regulations of the local government. They have to just coordinate with us. Maybe if they try to coordinate with us, they will realize that it's not difficult at all for them to be able to implement whatever they want to do, whatever kind of help they want to distribute.
Mayor, are you not worried that having everything pass through City Hall is going to create bottlenecks? I mean, typically in the immediate aftermath of a disaster, there's chaos, right? So, and I'm sure your staff are also overworked and spread too thin trying to attend to everyone. So are you not worried that mandating that everything goes through you guys is going to create unnecessary bottlenecks?
No, there's no bottleneck at all, because if we do not do that, how can we be assured that what they're distributing is safe? That's my question. If you would like to distribute today and you bring 1,000 food packs, what if these are spoiled already because they were cooked this morning without you knowing it, and we feed them to our people? If they get sick, what happens?
Was that the real reason,
that's a
Mayor?
basic question.
Right? Was that really the reason, Mayor? Panis na food.
Pwedeng mangyari yun. Yun ang sinasabi ko. Pwedeng mangyari po yun. Pwedeng mangyari yung panis na food, pwedeng mangyari yung expired na pagkain. At sino pong masisisi kapag may mangyari sa kanila? Kami po. Sapagkat kami po ang responsable dun sa mga tao po sa loob ng evacuation center. Alam mo po, nung kasagsagan ng sunog, meron pong isang pamilya ron na may bulutong. Sila po ay naka-quarantine doon. Kung papasok lang ang mga donors without coordinating, posibleng mahawa sila dun sa batang may bulutong. That is how it is in evacuation centers. May mga natutulog po ron na mga magulang, mga bata. May nagpapadeding nanay ng kanyang sanggol. Kung papasok lang ang sinong gusto mag-donate ay hindi nagko-coordinate sa amin, paano po yun? Paano po yung privacy nila? Paano kung papasok sila ng 12 midnight at tulog na po ang mga tao? Yun lang po ang gustuhan naming mangyari. Mag-coordinate lang po. We are not preventing anyone. It's not an additional layer of bureaucracy, because even if you ask all that have donated, please ask them if they had a hard time. And they will say, no, we didn't have a hard time.
Okay. We're going to have to leave that there. Thanks so much for explaining that and talking to us tonight. That was San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora. We appreciate your time.
All right, before we go, time for our big picture tonight. We just need to show you the video version of it. This is a quick respite from All Things Politics and Alice Guo. Look at that. Residents in northern Luzon saw this awesome display at around 12:39 this morning. It is an asteroid that made it past the Earth's atmosphere before breaking up and burning up. The 1-meter-wide space rock, named 2024 RW1, caused a harmless but spectacular fireball over northern Luzon. The meteor, discovered through the Catalina Sky Survey, is only the 9th meteor that humans have ever spotted before impact. Imagine that.
So beautiful.
It is. You know, it's also the European Space Agency who posted about
it. That's right. That everyone caught on with the ESA post. But I saw someone comment that we really are the most disaster-prone country, huh? We got what?
Well, it did break up.
Storms, typhoons, volcanoes, earthquakes,
and now a meteor.
Fire, wildfires. What else? Tsunamis, and now we literally have an asteroid, you know, passing over Philippine airspace. So what else is there?
Intermittently, North Korean rocket debris.
Oh,
right?
well, that's man-made. Excuse me.
Is it?
That's man-made, but all of these, yeah. Like,
I kind of feel bad that it's been cloudy and really rainy.
that we couldn't see it from here. But it's so beautiful. I mean, imagine that. Just the 9th one.
Take that, Aurora Borealis.
It does look like the Aurora Borealis, that's right.
But more concentrated. And also, you can really see the fireball.
Reminds me of the opening scenes of Superman.
Yeah.
Remember?
He landed when his from planet Krypton, he landed.
That's
here
right.
On Earth.
Oh no, and an asteroid as well. But yeah.
But that's it for the big story tonight. We have clear run out of time. We are One News, all sides, all the time.
Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.